Good morning, everyone. My name's Tammy Archer, and I am Chief Information Security Officer at Inchcape PLC. I'm also a student at Warwick University, so you're going to be hearing some of the work that I'm doing at Inchcape and some of my research that I hope to be doing in the future. So first of all, Inchcape is a world-leading independent automotive distributor, and we partner with over 40 manufacturers to connect vehicle brands like BMW, Toyota, Jaguar Land Rover, and Mercedes-Benz with their customers all over the world. The auto sector is rapidly transforming from internal combustion to alternative fuels, as well as automating, digitalizing, and focusing on the opportunities that effective use of data bring. Inchcape is also on a fast track to a digitalized future with an omni-channel customer offering, online used cars proposition, data analytics platform, and digital delivery centers in Colombia and the Philippines. Our focus and purpose is to bring money, mobility to the world's communities for today, tomorrow, and for the better. So today, I'm going to talk to you about a particular CISO challenge that I have. I'm going to talk to you about the determination of the technical tool stack, requirements for protecting my business. I'm going to talk to you about threat modeling, and then the dynamic threat modeling that will be needed for the future, and then how the cybersecurity challenges are going to change, and then what I'm particularly interested in, which is self-healing platforms, and then my project, Smart Robin. So a CISO's challenge. So for those of you out there that are CISOs like me, maybe you can relate. So I am a CISO for a FTSE 250 organization, and I wear many hats. I'm an SME, I'm a trainer, I'm an advisor, I'm a risk manager, I'm a designer, a controller, a budget holder, a reporter, reviewer, manager, and then on top of all of that, I have the job of keeping my business safe from cyber attack and protecting my business from cyber fraud. So regularly, I'm asked by my most top executives, am I winning the war against the cyber attacker? Now, in previous years, that would have been really easy because everything was very straightforward. But however, the pandemic has changed everything, and now the consumer wants to buy more and more online. And this has driven businesses to trade more online, demanding a rapid digitalization of their services and digital transformation programs. So in order to help our businesses be smarter, our roles as CISO have become a lot harder and a lot more challenging. So Inchcape's digital transformation comprises of a complex program spread across 40 countries in all 4 corners of the world. So it's quite a lot to get your arms around. And these include strategies to centralize network and service management, the expanded use of data and analytics, IoT, cloud first, and the inclusion of a range of new SaaS services, specifically to simplify processes and procedures and reduce the need for bespoke development. And each of these business strategies adds a layer of complexity to the visibility of my cybersecurity risks and issues. So top this with all the vendor noise and the tool and propaganda that I get given. So this must be your email solution. We are the best. You must have this network protection. This is the best IAM on the market. This is the best privacy that you need. We do the best third-party management. But actually in all of that, how do I really decide the technical security tools that I really need to protect my business? And what steps do I need to follow to make an informed choice? So that's my challenge. How do I cut out and look for the wood in the trees? So first of all, and I'm terrible for this, I need to resist solutionizing, because I get a problem and I just want to fill the gap. But I need to return to first principles and identify what needs protecting and the scope of that threat. And to do this, I need to do threat modeling and risk assessment. So I need to understand my attack surface. I need to understand where all of my vulnerabilities are. I need to understand what controls and tools I have available, so tools, techniques, and processes. And I need to know where my gaps are. And I need to ensure then, once I understand the gaps, that the solution requirements are proportionate and appropriate. I don't want to go buying a safe to protect £10. So it's about buying the right tools to fix the right problems. And once the requirement is fully understood, it's then I like to go shopping. So, as I said, I'm a student, so we at the University of Warwick are exploring this problem under the title Threat Modeling and Risk Assessment. And I'm doing this under the guidance of Professor Carsten Maple, Al-Tariq Sheikh, and the team at the Alan Turing Institute. So which threat modeling are they looking at? Well, there's many different threat modeling techniques out there, but the best ones that you can do will actually give you some form of ranking and prioritization. So if we look at both qualitative and quantitative measures, the qualitative are the types of threat, so spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure, denial of service, and elevation of privileges. And quantitative is the damage potential. It's the reproducibility, the exploitability, the number of affected users, and the discoverability. So that's the likelihood and impact. So you ask me, how do we score these? So for each one of those quantitative processes, we look at, for example, the potential damage. If it would never happen, then it's a 0. If it might happen, it's a 5. And if the damage potential is critical or it's game over, then it's a 10. Similar fashion for the others. With reproducible, if it's really, really hard to reproduce that attack, then it's a 0. The likelihood is very slim. If it's simple to follow, then it's a 5. But if it's open to the browser and anyone can get access to it, then that's a 10, it's a definite. So you can apply that to all of the categories, add them all up, divide them by 5 and come up with the average, and that will give you your product ranking. So instead of scoring threats with a high, medium, and low, we can now give them a much more granular figure. This is an important approach for examining threats at the high level, but we have to make sure that we understand that this will not do it at the component level, and there may well still be some attacks that won't get covered within this model. But as a rule of thumb, I think it works really nicely. So we can use these scores to prioritize our tooling requirement and identify which solutions give us our biggest bang for buck. So looking at the dynamic threat modeling, life isn't as simple as that anymore. It gets another layer of complexity. We have cloud, we have edge cloud, we have localized infrastructure, we've got vehicles that we might want to connect to that are on the move, we've got satellites. There are all sorts of things that could become part of our attack path. We don't have the standalone systems that I used to have 20 many years ago. I won't say how many, because you'll work out how old I am. But in terms of back in the day, it was just physical security, people security. Now, it's so difficult to control our surfaces, and it's so difficult to protect all of them. So we need a much more dynamic system, because every day my business will make decisions like, this is bring your own commercial device, Tammy. And it's like, no, I want everyone to use their own devices, and now I want everyone to work from home. And so our standard model is changing on a daily basis. And so just working out the threats and the risk at one point in time is not good enough at the moment. So this is something that we're working on at the moment at university, and I just wanted to share that with you, because it's something I'm very passionate about. So now that we know that we're very, very difficult to manage our boundaries, it's not like our attackers, they just have a focus on getting in, and they can try as many different techniques as they like. But for us, we've got to try and protect them all at the same time. And at the minute, I do see some attacks, not like, but luckily for me so far, no impact. But automated attacks are on the rise. I see automated password stuffing, phishing attacks, denial of services. What happens when automated attacks are far more complex, and that our attackers don't have to take 2 months off every year and go and lay on their island while they have their rest? They can just lay on their island 12 months of the year, and they can set their software in motion to reproduce itself across the internet, constantly scan our outer edges, and attack us continuously until they get in. When that happens, we won't be attacked 5, 6, 7 times a week. We'll be attacked thousands of times a week. Then, as CISO, we have to say to ourselves, will my SOC keep up with that? Will my response and recovery teams cope with that? How much more investment will I need? So then you have to start thinking, actually, if they're smart and they can do automated attacks, we need to now start to think about automated defenses and self-healing systems. So we need to be designing now those self-healing systems that can understand their own posture, know what their own vulnerabilities are, and then have the capability to be able to fix themselves. So that sounds really cool, doesn't it? But that means that all systems have got to talk to each other. Our control systems need to be included in that discussion. And then you've got to correlate and prioritize. So thinking back to the previous section, when we talked about dynamic risk assessment, that becomes really, really key to feed the AI and intelligent model of an automated self-healing platform. So self-healing platforms, they need to be proactive, reactive, and predictive. So proactive is all your vulnerability management. Reactive is all your automated incident response and recovery. And then your predictive is looking at the automated threat intelligence that's out there. So who's attacking my neighbors? Who else is being attacked in my sector? What nations are being attacked? What is the geopolitical threat landscape? And in my case, in the future, we are moving to electric vehicles. But who might think that, we're bad for the environment? We're very careful about that, and we really want to make that better for the future. But I have to take that into consideration as a threat. And so I want to be able to prioritize proactive, reactive, and predictive. And I want to be able to heal my systems in a way that makes me almost impenetrable. Now, I can never be perfect. And I want to operate in near real time. Now, I can't fix every issue with an automated system because algorithms aren't perfect either yet. Because if you program your algorithm and you've missed something at the start, you'll always miss it. So I want to be a true deterrent. I just want to make myself that much harder to attack me, that they don't attack me. They choose someone else. And so even though my attackers have got the automation of vulnerability scanning, the complexity of attacks, and thanks to all the nation-state attacks leaking into the wild, the sophistication of the malware, and even the masking of the malware now, where they could put in a bad URL link that's not actually live yet, so it will go through your systems. So with all of that, self-healing platforms to me is what we all need to be doing now to make sure that you're not the platform that they're all picking on in the future. So coming on to my last slide. So we in the enterprises, we're quite smart at this, aren't we? And actually, most of the big product providers are building self-healing platforms that you can all buy into if you're not building your own. That's really great, because that means the 1% of all enterprises in the world are going to be protected, aren't they? Now I just want you to think about something else. What about your granny, or your children, your brothers and sisters, your school, your doctors, your hospitals? What about the third world nations out there? They're never going to be able to afford smart AI and intelligent platform systems. So who's the attacker going to pick on? Yeah, we're all right, aren't we? Do we care about our families? So I'm quite passionate about this, and it's something that I want to do to give something back. So my project at university is to come up with an open systems platform to be able to share it, a bit like the Android of Apple, the Linux. I want to make it, and I want to give it away for free. I'm going to create it as an open standard, and then I'm going to allow other products to map into my API gateways to keep everyone safe at a really, really low cost. So that's kind of where I am. And I want to ethically and morally hold all the big companies to account and to help them understand their moral responsibility. And so that's why it's called Smart Robin. It's smart because it's AI, it's intelligent. And it's Robin because I'm going to rob from the big vendors to pay for it. So that's the end of my talk today. I don't know if I've gone over or under.
You've been perfect. Thanks a lot, Tammy. What a great way to open our first day of Cyber Live. And now I'd really like to throw open the floor to some questions. Does anybody in the audience have any questions for Tammy? Either at home, where you can obviously send your questions via Slido, or in the room. Anyone? Okay, well, I've actually got one that's just come through now. You've worked across a lot of industries, Tammy. Mm-hmm. Which of those has been most vulnerable to cyber, and why? Is that, if that's an answerable question?
So I have worked across many industries. I think the role, I was CISO in the Foreign and Commonwealth Office twice, which obviously is quite out on the edge. I can't talk about the types of attacks, but I can say that that was definitely the most vulnerable. But also the best playground in the world in terms of learning my trade.
Okay. And what's the one message that people should take away from this session today?
So cybersecurity is getting really hard. And as a CISO or wherever you are within your career, there are going to be times when you're going to face quite difficult circumstances. And I would say when it does come to that, you just need to take a step back and think about how you're going to approach the problem. Don't get sucked into, oh, my life, what have I done? How's it all gone so bad? But focus on solving the problem. And then once it's all done and fixed, then you can go and chill out in the corner somewhere and say a few words. But I think that's the most important thing, is stay calm. You're all, very capable individuals, and I think you just need to solve the problems that are in front of you at that moment in time. And if you get a chance, simulation and practice is really good for that.
Great, thank you so much, Tammy. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for, because we need to move on to our next session. But if we can all give Tammy a